All right, so I wanted to do a rhythm lesson today. So I drew up something to help us count rhythm, be able to visualize what we're hearing. So to explain this a little bit, this whole, yardstick right here equals one measure. One measure gets 1, 2, 3, 4 beats. And what we're going to do is we're going to practice this with a metronome. This is going to help us get more comfortable being consistent with counting rhythm, being able to feel rhythm, understanding how that works, and being able to pretty much just navigate through rhythm. So we're going to look at some exercises and really good techniques to help you develop that, because it is something that you need to develop. It's like any other thing that you're working on in music. Like it takes time to develop. It's not something that most people, or at least I didn't have it. I definitely had to work on developing my rhythm, because early on I had a really difficult time being able to keep time consistently. But some of these exercises really helped me a lot. First thing is we're going to practice with a metronome. So a metronome just is going to help us keep a steady time. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the metronome. If you Google metronome, you'll be able to find one, and it's going to always count it in 4, at least on the Google one. The one I'm using is in the recording software that I use. So that's the one that I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to 80 beats per minute. That's going to be our tempo. Beats per minute just means how many beats fit in 60 seconds. So, if you think about it, if it was 60 beats per minute, they would just be like 1, 2, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. So we're going to take it at 80, and that's going to be a nice steady tempo for us. So I'm going to get that going. So as you can hear, one is a lower pitch. 2, 3, 4. So we can hear where 1 is, the downbeat. 1 falls on that lower beat. So we're going to count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4. So that's, each count of 4 is 1 measure. So how does this help us develop our rhythm? 1, we're going to start, it's going to help us clapping on the rhythm. So once we have this metronome going, you want to lock yourself into that tempo, to that steady tempo, and start clapping to it. 3, 4. It also helps to count internally or out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you really lock in is when you don't even hear the metronome anymore. That's how you know you're super locked in. So that's a good way to practice that. Another good one is to pick certain beats to clap on. So I'm just going to clap on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 3, 1. Now I'm going to clap on beats 1 and 3. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So practicing that way is a really good, where you're clapping on 4 beats, all 4 at once, on 1, 2, 3, and 4, then clapping on 2 and 4, and then clapping on 1 and 3. And now what we can do as well is we can clap on individual beats. So let's clap on just 1. 1. And the whole time you should be continuing to sort of at least tap your foot, count internally, or just nod back and forth, you know. So it's going to help you kind of keep it going, even when you're talking to a camera. Okay, another thing that we can do is now we can kind of, let's do it on 4. 1. Okay, so now let's turn this metronome off for a second. All right, so I want to talk about these little plus signs. So if we want to subdivide this, you know, measure of 4, we can subdivide it so where we are, you know, subdividing each beat in half. So what we're going to do is when we have it just beats on 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are called quarter notes. Quarter notes mean they equal 1 beat, and you know, if they're a quarter, 4 quarters equal 1 whole. So 4 quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter notes equal 1 measure. What we can do now is we can subdivide these quarter notes into half notes. So now we have a beat between 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 1. So we're going to call that and. So we're going to count that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the tempo is going to stay the same. The 80 beats per minute, that's going to stay consistent. All we're doing is we're just adding more beats within that just that same block of time that we haven't adjusted or done anything. That's consistent, the 80 beats per minute. So let's see how to count that now. So here we still have that same 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Tempo's still the same. 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to add in the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's how we would count that measure of 4. So now there's, instead of 4 beats when it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, we now have 8 beats. Okay, let me turn the metronome off. All right, so these are the and of 1, the and of 2, the and of 3, and the and of 4. So that's what we would call those. So you know what, we can do the same thing with the metronome back on and practicing these. Let me show you a couple ways to practice these. All right, I'm gonna turn the metronome back on. So we're just gonna do a standard clap on all 1 and 2 and beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now let's just clap on. Let's do this. We'll clap on the ands only. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See that? That's the clapping on the upbeat. The ands sort of like bring that syncopation, which is that upbeat, not on the downbeat. The metronome, 2, 3, 4, those are all on the downbeat. The ands are all on the upbeat. Try look at that one more time. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 1. And I'm counting the whole time. So now that's how we count on the ands. So now let's isolate this even further. Let's do the clapping exercise, but now let's just start clapping on, this is more advanced. Let's clap on like the and of 2. So let's just clap on this beat. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 2. All right, now let's clap on the and of 1 and hear what that sounds like. 4, 1, 2, and 3, 1, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. All right. How about the and of 3? 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. All right, guess what's next? We're going to do the and of 4. So right before that downbeat is where we're going to clap. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And 4, and 1, and 2. And so now I was snapping and pointing. It was just easier for me. So anyways, that's how I want you to start practicing your rhythm. You know, you don't have to do it for as long as we did it just now, but kind of taking time to at least start getting comfortable clapping on the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can work to the, you know, the eighth notes. These would be considered eighth notes because now we have, makes these all eighth notes. 8 notes, 8 beats per measure. All right, so practice your rhythm that way with a metronome, and that's it. And you're going to see some. It's going to help you get some good results. You can also not just only clap. What you can do is, you know, you can play a chord. You can play a single note. So it's like on twos. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, with a metronome, of course. Just to make it more interesting. But clapping is, I do suggest clapping because that is something that you're really kind of, you know, you're moving your body around a little bit. So you're really kind of feeling that rhythm. So mess around with that, and I know it'll work out. So, all right. Thank you.